Part 2. A scientific study of the hypersphere. Or, not without my baby data, the art of loving outside time. The hypersphere is a big fucking place, but in comparison to hyperspace, it's a fucking toddler. The only way to escape the hypersphere and enter hyperspace is through the 9th room, which can only be reached by traveling through the preceding 8 rooms. Once in the 9th room, one is in the hyperspace and the hypersphere at the same time. The physical rules of hyperspace mean that although one occupies the 9th room in the hypersphere, one also occupies every other place and time within hyperspace. This is a similar experience to the one described earlier in the 2nd room of the hypersphere, albeit on a much larger scale. Hyperspace only overlaps with the 9th room of the hypersphere. However, since the hypersphere was born from hyperspace and was for a brief period completely within hyperspace, it is possible to re-enter any room of the hypersphere at any time from hyperspace. The smoothness of my balls after a hot shower, the razor full of pubes. I drag my finger in between my cheeks. I have shaved there too. I touch my asshole and I shiver, so smooth. I grab my balls with one hand and my shaft with the other, and browse X-hentai with a third. But I digress. During this recess of my restless unrest, you see, it could not be that this hyperspace remained listless. All the species counted, all the female variants of them mounted, here in the realm of the hypersphere. The scientific study of the hypersphere was not something one did in a day. It took several moments to fully grasp exactly how the hypersphere worked. Many had tried and most of them had figured it out, but it took all of them quite a while. One of the first attempts was also the first successful attempt. It was done by the hypersphere itself, and so the hypersphere had an idea of self before anyone else knew how it worked. Not that they had tried to figure it out. Before it was sentient, there really wasn't any point in trying to know the hypersphere. The hypercube, though, oh boy. There we have a fellow who everyone wanted to know inside and out. Of course, the inside was the outside, and the outside was part of the hypersphere, but y'all know that already. The very moment the hypersphere became sentient, it started up a Google Doc to try and badmouth the hypercube out of jealousy. It didn't really work, and the hypersphere stood in the shadow. See, not a real shadow, you dummy, because a hypercube doesn't cast a shadow. Of the hypercube for several moments. A moment of silence for the hypersphere, if you please. Nom nom bubblegum. That's enough, really. It really is quite privileged. Actually, let's have one more. There we go. Subchapter 1. Part of the mining colony, part 2. Mean heartenly it, being the absolute version of Horizon, didn't transform you legate. Happen stingerly much. Not very much at least. Soderman can't or willn't be far multed to just any stand in the droopers fly fallen from the big blue. Quite understandable. It couldn't have been a better tinder match for the botham gather of them. Overroot flew fell faster and faster up until it smacked back right to the upward. Impossible, really. But we should have seen it coming. Blasting. Blasting, I tell you. Like a car. A car horn. Damned Topherium just couldn't let it go. Segue, the end of this part.